Today we are going to be learning about how to use cut up stories and messages. There are 7 different ways that you can use these sentences. We are going to start with a beginner and we are going to go to a more advanced reader. The first one is to cut phrases into 2 or 3 parts. This is for a beginner reader. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my student to give me a sentence. As she gives me a sentence, I am going to be writing it for her. Sally, can you give me a sentence?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
So we are walking. Can you say your sentence one more time?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
To see the fat donkey. Sally, can you read that sentence for me?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Good. Now, as a teacher, what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this up into chunks. So I'm going to cut it into 2 or 3 different word segments. Now that I've cut it up into different word sentences, the teacher will prompt the student and say, Sally, can you rearrange the sentence strips to make the sentence that we just talked about?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Good. So as you can see, she was able to reread and retell the story that we started by using chunks of a word. The next one that we are going to do is called cut up stories and messages with the whole words cut up. So using the same sentence that Sally has already created, I am going to demonstrate how we would cut up word for word. We are going to be using the same sentence as it says here. We are walking to see the fat donkey. I am going to cut this up into just words. Can you read that word?
We
What's that word?
are
And this word?
walking to see the
Good.
fat donkey.
Great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these up, move them all around. So what she's going to do now is she's going to be prompted to put her sentence back together. Sally, now that I've cut up word for word, could you put the sentence back together word for word?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Good. So we had a sentence that started together and she was able to organize the sentence by cutting it up into words. The next one that we are going to be doing starts to become a little bit more challenging. We're going to use the same sentence strips, but we are going to cut it up, and I'm going to cut the first letters of the words off. She will then have to figure out what letters go with what words. So we are going to use the same sentence as before. It says, we are walking to see the fat donkey. As demonstrated, I'm going to cut off the first letter of the word, and she will have to put them back together. Sally, what letter did I just cut off?
W.
Okay. What letter am I cutting off now?
T.
Good. What letter am I cutting off now?
S.
What word was that?
C.
Good. I'm going to cut off this word, and we're going to cut that. Oh, that word spells 2 different words. What's H-E spell?
E.
Oh, we'll have to see if that works in our sentence. So as you can see, I'm having a conversation with Sally as I cut the words apart. Now, all of the beginning letters are cut apart, and as a teacher, you can kind of just come over here and you can kind of scooch around and mix them all up, or you could have the student mix up all the letters. It's up to you, however you would like to do it. So what I did is I separated these. Now, this becomes a little bit more challenging. What Sally needs to do now is she needs to combine the words by figuring out the starting letters of the word. Sally, do you remember what our sentence was?
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Great. So now what I want you to do is try to make those words. I cut the first letters off, so you're going to have to learn how to match the first letters with the words. Can you go ahead and try one? What letter is that?
W.
What sound does that make?
W.
Good.
W. E. We.
We. Great.
We are walking.
Good. How did you know those two went together?
The W, when you add it to this ending, makes walking. Walking.
Very good. You knew how to use the word walking. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Great job, Sally. You were able to put the sentence back together. How did you know that that's how it went? What did you do to help you remember?
I remembered our sentence and then thought about the first letter in each of the words. We are walking to see the fat donkey.
So as you can see, Sally was able to put the first letters in with the words. This proves to be a bit challenging for some, but with prompting and guiding, it will help you do the rest. Our next way to use a sentence strip is cutting them up by cutting off the endings, maybe an ing ending, an s, an ed ending. You can use your judgment when trying to figure out what endings that you are going to cut off. We are going to use the same sentence again. The sentence is, we are walking to see the fat donkey. Sally, could you point to an ending that might have a different ending that they added to show that something is happening?
The ing ending.
The ing ending? Good. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to cut up the sentence strip, but I'm going to be paying close attention to some of our endings. So I'm going to chop it up into words. However, I'm going to separate the word walk and ing and see if she's able to put the sentence back together by adding the ending to the certain word. Again, as a teacher, you can kind of come in here and you can mix them all up. That way it's not too easy for your student to figure out what they're doing. All right, so prompting-wise, I would say, Sally, I took off some endings of the word. There's one word that I took an ending off of. Well, as you're putting your sentence back together, please pay attention to the ending that I took off. So go ahead, Sally, see if you can figure out this sentence with that ending.
We are walking to see the fat donkey.
Very good. So you were able to tell that the ing went on the end of walk. How did you know that?
Because the word walking has the word walk and then the ending ing to say we are walking.
Good.